Alright, hello and welcome to a modern stream, but not so much of a stream. This is just gonna be a recording. Because there's the trophy race going on right now, and there's really no point in competing with Spike. He's taking up all the viewers, and that's perfectly fine because it's actually the most exciting thing that's been happening to Magic in the past year, so I'm super excited about it. Definitely cheering for him. But I still wanted to make some content, so this one is going to be going straight to YouTube. So if you want to check this one out, there's no other place to find it. So what I'm going to be trying out today is going to be a 4-color version of lands. What we have access to here, of course, is we get to play with Teferi Raveler. This card is obviously pretty busted right now, so the shell remains the same, but in the past list that I've been playing and having success with, I've been kind of messing around with the last couple of flex slots. I tried stuff like Courser Crufix, stuff like Tireless Tracker. So here we are just adding some explorers, cutting some extra explorers, sorry, and then just adding the full playset of the Fairy Term Raveler. The mana is not that much more complicated. We did have to cut the Blast Zone, which make the room for Breeding Pool, and then we have both Quetria Triumph and Rogreen Triumph as our blue sources in the list. I also changed the fetch lands to Flooded Strands so that I can find basically I want all of my fetch lands to be able to find my one untapped blue source, you know, just in case you top deck a fetch land when on turn 3 and you really want to slam that Teferi. Well, Flooded Strand actually does that. Also, it's important to get the basic planes because the basic planes is what allows us to get Prismatic Ending and to cast it under Blood Moon. So I have in my other list, I was experimenting with the fetch lands to play and whatever, and I found out that it's actually very important to have access to fetch lands that get your white sources. Besides that, it is the list that I've been working on for a minute now, and I've been having some good experiences with it. So the mana base is only, again, slightly adjusted in order to fit the fairy, but that's the only change that we're doing to the main deck. In the sideboard, because we have access to blue, we get to play cards like Mystical Dispute. I was thinking about what I wanted to be playing in this slot, and because we're a Chalice deck, we actually have very limited options. It was either Negate or Dovin's Veto or something like that. If I were to be playing one of these, I would just play Negate. Or something like Flusterstorm. But the issue with Flusterstorm is that it doesn't counter stuff like Opposance the Fairies and stuff. So I ended up going with Mystical Dispute because this one does counter Murktide Regent, which is a very important card against us. Even though one of the reasons to be playing with the Fairy is that it makes our Murktide Regent matchup a lot easier, right? Because, you know, this card's very good against Murktide. So the other cards that I'm including is Pulse Murasa. This is one that I'm trying out because of the serious uptick on burn that we're seeing recently. And then Courser Crufix in the sideboard for the same reason. This could also be a Tireless Tracker or something like that. I just wanted something that could grind a little bit better. Because we have access to a better Murktide matchup, I'm only playing the single lonesome copy of Celestia Charm. But everything else is pretty much the same. Oh, the other change I did is I added a second copy of Ghost Quarter to the sideboard. This is, of course, for the Tron matchup. Alright, so we're going to be running this list through a league. Hopefully you enjoy it. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you there for round number 1. Okay, here we are for round number 1. With a pretty fine hand, actually. Turn 2, Renin 6. And we can go turn 1 Expedition Map. Opponent keeps 7. We have a green source, so we definitely want to find a red source here. So I'm just going to go find Sacred Foundry, I think. Just going to play Expedition Map. Still not sure whether we are going to want to play Rain or play Chalice on 1. We have to wait to see what our opponent is on. I'm just not going to run a Chalice on 0 in the blind, I don't think. Spire Bluff Canal. Well, I was gonna say we're running the Chalice, but wait, what? Why would I ever make that play? That play makes no sense at all whatsoever. No sense at all. It just mailed me for no reason. I'm gonna slam this run into the counter spell, which is not great, but like, it's the longer that I, you know, wait on this, the more likely that it becomes for my opponent to actually have the counter spell. Now they can't kill the Chalice. Now we're gonna have a Saga going. I think this should probably be just game over. Super weird how they went, like, and they slammed it too, right? Like, just like Thought Scour, target you. Just like, why? Yeah, Brazen Borrower. Okay. So that gives them a small window to either counter this when I play it again, or to... I'm gonna play Murktide. So now the question is gonna be whether I want to make a Saga token or I want to play Chalice. I think I'm just gonna play Chalice and I guess crack Expedition map. I'm gonna make a 6/6 Murktide here. Pretty lucky, they play exactly one Brazen Borrower. Pretty lucky that they just naturally drew it. We could also Chalice for 2. We could also just Chalice for 2. If I Chalice for 2, that means that I can't get counterspelled. I'm just gonna Chalice for 1, I think, and then crack Engineered Explosives. They have way more 1-drops than 2-drops. And I'm probably gonna find another Saga with this Expedition map, I think. I'm assuming that they're just gonna attack the Ren here. Okay, ran down. I think I'm just getting another Saga. I have already the Valakut, so if I do find a Dryad, I don't think I'm gonna need the second one. It's not a good draw though. So I'm just gonna start to make some constructs and suit them up with Shadow Spear. I could go for Soon Orb, but it's just so bad against Counterspell. Can't bolt this. What they can do is they can steal it though. Yeah, that's a mistake. They should let this equipment resolve and then steal it, if that's what they're gonna do. Because they can steal it with the Shadow Spear. And it's gonna be just a 2/2. But it's obviously better for them. Oh, they just make a 3/1. I mean, we may be able to raise this. We take 9 here. Then we gain 5. Oh, they just have everything? Yep, just have everything. Okay. So we just die in the air then? Dryad is probably a route. If we had found Dryad, maybe we had a shot there, but haven't missed on the Dryad. Because Dryad allows me to kill the Murktide. But alright, so we want that. We want these. We want these. Potentially that one too. Cold Squatter can go. Explorers can go. Prismatic Endings. I don't think Chalice is that good. Like, it's fine, but it's okay. It's not necessarily insane. Ren is very, very good on the play. Just got a Courser and could just cut all the Chalices, but I don't think it's that bad. Soul Guide is good to play around. Soul Guide is good to play around Unholy Heat. Just cut the Titania. We're on the play. Okay. Not excited about this hand, but so we're probably gonna go Katria Triome. Make sure we have our blue source. And our best draw is probably just red and 6. DRC is less bad for us than Monkey. At least in the current board state. People very often misuse their bubble. Like, they just don't get as much value as they could. The question is going to be, do I go for Teferi or Dryad? I think I'm just going to go for Dryad. Blue, red, monkey. Okay. So I'm definitely going for Dryad then. Exiled Valakut? Ugh. Would have been nice to draw that one. Let's get a Plains. Let's play our Saga. Play Dryad. Just put this fetch land into play. So we're good against Blood Moon. We're just going to be able to find another forest here, which is fine. And then we can just play Teferi. We can bounce it if we want to, or we can just not do anything. We have Titania. ×2, actually. Sure. Well, I'm blocking this monkey. They can bolt my Dryad now. But if they do, I just untap and slam Titania. Holy heat. Yeah, that's fine. Kind of makes no sense, actually. Sure, we sold this Titania while we can. Can go get Windswept Heath. It makes no sense for them to crack the thing instead of just fetching. Like, it just makes no sense at all. It's just weird. They want to hide, like they're gonna go fetch an island, but they want to hide it from Blood Moon or something. Like, if they just go for Blood Moon, that's really good for me. Because I just get 2 5/3s, I just swing back for 15. So many game actions. So many game actions. Unholy Heat has been revealed. Second DRC. Okay. So now we're just gonna play second Titania and just Suran over them. So this game should be locked up. Unless they have their engineered explosives. If they have engineered explosives, then it may not be locked up. So I guess that's a reason to go for, instead of going for the Saga line, we can go for just suiting this elemental up with Shadow Spear. That's a Dryad. Yeah, I think I want to do that actually. This is just so much better against an engineered explosives. Maybe making the construct was bad, and I should just resolve the Titania. They did have the explosives. So smart. So Teferi is gonna bait a counter spell. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Teferi baits a counter spell. One card left in hand. Actually, let's go Dryad first. I'm just gonna have this Teferi bounce one of their dudes. Slow down the clock. Endurance is nice. Endurance is nice. Probably gonna take the 3 though, because I can just suit up this with Shadow Spear. We knew about that one. Opponent's definitely gonna attack the Teferi. Huh. I wonder if I should just Endurance right now. I guess I can protect the Teferi with the Endurance. Yeah, I actually like that a lot. So it's gonna cost me a Titania and the Endurance, which is also a very, very good body. But now we get to eat the thing. We get to make Unholy Heat bad. And then we get to suit up the Triad. It also prevents the Murktide from happening. This may be a spew of resources, but I think it's a good play. They go face. Well, that's even more of a reason to do this. That's even more of a reason to do this. If they go face, it's because they have a plan. Like they either have a Murktide in hand, which I can blank by doing this, or like they definitely have something like that going on. Now we get to eat this. There's nothing my opponent can do because the fun Raveler is in play. You can't do anything, opponent. Unless they have like a cycle or something. Yeah, you can't do anything. There's literally nothing you can do. Sure, if they have Lightning Bolt and they bolt my Dryad, I get super punished. So that's the only thing it can punish me here. They just don't realize that there's a Teferi here, I think. I could just take this. Oh, they're just trying to brace in Borrower. That's what's up. Yeah, I think I'm gonna bite. I'm gonna bite. Like if they are baiting me into doing this and instead of having brace and Borrower, they just have something else, this is fine. They cannot figure out that that there's a Teferi in play, huh? They just cannot figure that part out. There we go. If they have Lightning Bolt here, that could be a problem, but I don't think they have Lightning Bolt. A Breathe. Wow. Really? They go after Shadow Spear instead of the Dryad? That's insane to me. Unless they have they have the Bolt too. Alpine Moon. Okay. Okay, so they kept on top. So whatever is over there, it's gonna be good. Now, do they name Saga or do they name? They name Saga. So if we draw Valakut, we just win. Or Expedition Map. It's not bad. Just gonna ping the DRC. Bold Teferi. You got it. Prismatic ending. Easy. Easy. 2, yeah. Opponent says Ren. No idea what that means. They're just saying Ren is very good. I agree with them if they do. Oh, my opponent says Ren, Prismatic, GG. We're not going to talk about how my opponent drew their one of Brazen Borrower in game 1, right? We don't talk about that. We don't. It's always a lot easier to complain with when the opponent got lucky than to realize when we got lucky. So now we're on the draw, so maybe I want some number of explosives, particularly knowing that my opponent's playing Alpine Moon. I think I'm just gonna do this. They do have a Braid as well. So I don't need to, you know, expose my chalices to their artifact removal. The Pulse and the Corsair are interesting to me. The Pulse and the Corsair are interesting to me. Probably not as good as the other cards that I got going on. Yeah, like this. Temple Garden, ending that thing. Pass the turn. Next turn we're gonna probably go dry expedition map plus tapped land. Ren and 6 is our best draw. Okay. So now Engineer Explosives is our best draw? Probably Ren is still our best draw. Yeah, Ren is definitely our best draw. Prismatic Ending. I think I'm just gonna kill the DRC actually. And I'm gonna shock to play the expedition map. We can crack it to look for either a basic or to look for fetch land. Probably not fetch land, but like a Valakut maybe. It's possible that they don't have Blood Moon because of how they've been fetching. Because they had 2 fetches that they could have used, and they got a dual land both times. So maybe they're just playing Alpine Moon. Land, Wrenn, and 6. So good, man. So good. Wrenn is just sick in this deck. Alpine Moon. Let's get Rogue in Triumph. Let the Alpine Moon resolve. Opponent is Moon Flooded. Another one naming Saga. Okay. Do you need explosives one time? Play land. I think I'm gonna just play this Dryad just to bait a counterspell. The only reason is to hopefully bait a counterspell. Okay, so they don't have counterspell. That's not enough for them to play Murktide, so still not enough to play Murktide. I guess now they could have untapped land, but they would make a 3/3 Murktide, so I'm not too scared of a 3/3 Murktide. Also, because if they tap out, they just... like Titania just does the thing. So let's swing. Play land, play land. Play this again. So they just don't have counterspell, huh? They just don't have a counterspell. DRC. That seems fine. This is gonna end up chump attacking into, I guess, my 5/3s, I guess. I could top deck Valagat, so I'm gonna hold on to this fetch land. Breeding pool. First things first. Let's do this. And I think that I'm gonna just play Titania here. And the reason to do this without a land in the grave. Oh, that's what I should have done. I should have played the Saga first. I messed that up there. So what I had to do was I had to play the Saga first, then the Saga comes back, then we do this. So the way that this works is the... Oh yeah, sure, would play that. The way that this works is Saga with Alpine Moon, it gets destroyed, but Titania sees it as a card that enters the battlefield and then gets destroyed. So you actually get a 5/3. So every Saga that you play, it's a free 5/3 when you have Titania in play. So I think that... No, this is fine actually. This is the exact same amount of tokens. In fact, this is better because it doesn't allow my opponent to respond to the Titania trigger by blowing up one of my... by killing the Titania. So yeah, this actually was the better line. The objectively better line was found. think this is just deterministic. Like, it just doesn't matter what I do, my opponent's just dead. Doesn't matter if they actually make these into 3/3s, because I can just Soul Guide, exile their stuff. Opponent laughs in chat. I'm like, you realize you were already dob, right? I don't know if they realized that they were already dead on board by a lot, but sure, I got super lucky. I got super lucky. Alright, I think my opponent's gonna tilt off for a minute, but yeah, obviously we win this game, and I will see you for the next round. Alright, we survived the assault from last game, and we're ready for the next round. This hand's excellent. Yep, let's do this. Playing against the Lurrus deck. Definitely keep this hand. Oh no, is this mill? We're gonna go with Breeding Pool because I can next turn go explore into get Sacred Foundry and like kill a crab or something. Island. We're playing against the control deck? Maybe. Huh. Maybe we're playing against the control deck. Seems unlikely. Okay, so it is mill. It is mill. Yep. So I like disputes. I like endurances, obviously. And I guess that's it. Maybe Pulse of Moras? Nah. No, I think this is it. Mill is obviously one of our absolute worst matchups, right? So not particularly high on our prospects to win this match. This hand is almost good enough. Super close to being good enough. Keep this one, bottom the Suran Orb. Although I guess that Suran Orb is not that bad. It's pretty good against Yeah, Surinor seems pretty good against. What am I trying to say here? Yikes. Field of Ruin. I wonder if this is okay. So it's the blue-white mill version. This one won a challenge this past week. Just gonna pass the turn, and I think I'm fetching for Temple Garden. Pretty unfortunate. It's like one of the few lands that doesn't allow us to cast our spells here. Just going to explore. Looking for a land here. It's a lot of lands that don't let me cast Teferi. That's a lot of lands that don't let me cast Teferi. Three mana mill 17. I guess Dryad allows me to cast Teferi. So now if they go for lethal, I can, I guess, upkeep endurance myself if I need to. The problem is if they have surgical. Yeah, there's the endurance. So if they're surgical right now, we just lose. The good thing is that they can't kill the Dryad, I don't think. Maybe they can. They could have put Lurrus in hand, right? And they didn't. So I think I'm just going to chalice for one. Because if they have Remand, I can just cast the chalice again. But playing Teferi is just very mana inefficient. Thought Scour. Wow. Thought Scour is interesting. Sorry, here we go. My opponent played a fetch land and they fracture and sanity me. Alright, so this is the moment of truth. We have 0 cards left in the deck, so I want to put a stop on my upkeep. And if they have the Remand for the endurance, this is gonna be good games. And if they don't, then we're gonna be pretty likely to win. They do have the counterspell. Okay. Too bad that these are one of the few colored spells that actually don't allow me to pitch again, right? Very unfortunate. All right, see you next round. All right, so playing against the Millhouse over here. Sound is a little bit land heavy. If any of these were Valakut, I would probably keep it. But we're on the draw. I think I'm gonna ship it. This one's a lot better. keep, and we're gonna bottom the forest. Crashing footfalls. So we can go breeding pool into sacred foundry, or like the other way around, doesn't matter. Obviously gonna play this chalice on 0. Ice. We are getting iced. It's not really that big of a deal. Play this chalice and say go. So now we can go get a Ketria Triumph. They have the force. All right. So I guess they just had it all. Except for the land. Well, this is going to be the fastest Teferi. These triumphs in that deck, man, they're so bad. Triumphs are so bad in the footfalls deck. I think the game plan here is to just plus ad infinitum. Nice footfalls. So they have Fury here, which kills my Ren, which is kind of annoying. Oh, they're going for Teferi? Okay. That's absolutely amazing for me. Just gonna crack this Soul Guide Lantern to draw a card. Get planes. Get Titania. Get that. Plus on that. I think we played all land already. We did. Plus, pass the turn. Unless they have another Fury. Should be looking pretty good here. Gonna jump with the 5/3. Make sure Teferi survives. Next turn we get to swing in for 6. Omnath. Alright. No land though, because you know they're playing a Rhinos deck. They can't play that many lands, so makes a lot of sense. So play this. Then I'm gonna play both lands that my opponent knows about. Huh, they weren't dead. Sure, I could have ghost coded myself and then like make a ton of tokens, but technically they were not dead yet. Okay, so I think we like this. We like these. And I assume that my opponent cannot. They're playing 4 colors, right? There's no way that they can play. That they can play Blood Moon, right? My opponent's gonna be a reasonable person. They can't just be playing Blood Moon in their Omnath deck. Yeah, there's no way. There's no way. So I'm just gonna safely not bring in my forces. Yeah, I think none of these cards just line up properly. This is fine. Dispute is mostly to use defensive, to use proactively. Sorry, I think. Opponent's on the play. Keep this hand. Gonna put the text a little bit up here so we can read. Oh no, they mulled to 6. Again, not playing around Blood Moon because I have faith that my opponent's not a maniac. Okay. Just gonna go Saga into Explore here. Or not. We're not. Not gonna do that. So they're gonna play their Rhinos here, which is not that bad for us, really. Let's see some sideboarding. So they got Omnath, they got multiple borrowers, they got Dispute. Jeez, probably 4 disputes. It's a lot of disputes. So if I go Explore into Ren, that allows me to Titania next turn. Also, the Chalice is not a bad draw. But next turn, Titania is going to stabilize. And then we can Saga for Suranorb, or we can Saga for... Saga for either Suranorb or Expedition Map for Balakut. They have Omnath. Omnath is for sure a problem. Yep. All right. It's a very good draw. Very good draw. We're gonna blow up our own Chalice, so I think I want to chill 1 turn on that. We also have to play it for 1 more, right? So here I think the plan is gonna be to block here, block here. I guess I could just go Childless Agent. So we're probably dead to a shock. So like either Bone Crusher or Fire Ice. Oh, I guess we're actually just dead to either Embrace Ember or Fire Eyes. They just bounce the token and Outburst. Does that kill me? Block, block. Okay, now it does kill me. Okay. Got me. Seems fine. I think being on the play is gonna change things significantly. Play versus draw in this kind of matchup is such a dramatic difference. When, you know, my opponent just is not doing anything until they reach turn 3. Keep. Gonna get Jeskai Triumph. Triumph. Now the question is, do I want to explore or Ren? I think I just want to Ren. They could have a Force, I guess, but next turn we get to double Explore, sets up Titania very nicely. And the important thing for playing Ren right now is that it's important to guarantee that we hit every land drop off the Explore, right? That's the important thing. We need to make sure that we're hitting every land drop. Also, it makes a top deck like Teferi that much better. Okay. Again, making sure we're guaranteeing every single land drop. Next turn, we're gonna be able to deal a bunch of damage or put a bunch of tokens into play. Whatever we feel like it's gonna be better for us. Yeah, this is gonna be. I feel like I just don't want to randomly die to some stupid thing, so I think the line is gonna be play my Dryad, Valakut, fetch, OCS, and this is gonna delay one turn of my Saga, but I think that's fine because it means that my opponent has got no pressure whatsoever. Could also draw a second Valakut here. Maybe they'll force this, that would be awesome. I guess I'm at 17. I'm at 17, so we can just go. No, let's just not mess around with this. Like we're 0% to lose, as long as we don't screw it up by trying to get cute. We just cannot mess this up. Like we cannot lose this game anymore. Unless we somehow get cheesed out by me being an idiot, right? So just make sure that we stabilize here. Next turn we can go Titania plus Teferi. Like the game's just gonna end. So they shocked. Okay. Yeah, I'm not feeling Omnath in the Rhinos deck. It does not look good at all. It does not look good at all. Like, it doesn't really have ways of drawing cards. It honestly just feels pretty bad. Just gonna save targets. Yeah. All right, sweet. Yeah, I don't think it's like it's an interesting idea to try out, but it just doesn't synergize with the deck at all. It is an objectively powerful card for sure, but I don't think it's objectively powerful enough in the abstract. Like, the decks where this card really shines are where, like, you have something else going on, like Recent Reef allows you to hit your land drops and it gives you the lands. But like playing a 23 land deck, maybe 24 at most, and just like having a card that you play in turn 4 and that you never want to like miss a land drop, and then you have like 4 cantrips total. Like, I don't think it synergizes very well. It's an interesting one to play in this deck though. Omnath could be pretty good in this deck. Probably not, but still. See you next round. All right. Sure, a little bit of the greedy side, but we're on the draw. We have some good interaction. Definitely looking for a fetch land. We have 10 in our deck. Okay. Redundant Child is not the most exciting draw. Let's see what we're up against. Kitria Triumph. We're playing against another Rhinos gamer. I mean, this hand is excellent against Rhinos. We're probably soon gonna find out here. This is 2 blue mana. Petty Theft. Well, I'm slamming this chalice on 0. Slamming it so fast. Ha! So I guess they have another Petty Theft. Which is bad for me, to be honest. But at the same time, it's not really the end of the world. Like, we already have Prismatic Ending, we have Titania. Like, sure, this is really good for them. It's probably like the best possible thing that could have happened for them, but I still feel like I'm in an okay spot. And of course, like, we can't play the second chalice, right? That's just not how this works. We cannot play the second chalice because the first chalice counters the second one. Gonna wait for that to resolve. We're gonna lead on chalice in case my opponent has a force, which is likely. Oh, they're just gonna outburst here, which is perfectly fine. Oh, that was a mistake. I forgot I had the Dryad in play. I shouldn't have fetched. I should not have fetched. But now I'm gonna go, make a 5/3. I'm gonna go find a white source. Just plains. I guess it doesn't need to be a white source, but just pass the turn. We're looking really, really good here. Maybe the Rhinos matchup is just very good. Yep. Got him. Okay. We brought in disputes. We brought in explosives. Here my opponent did seem to be playing just Temur. So I think I'm going to assume that they have Blood Moons. So we can just do this. Also, them not seeing the Teferis is pretty good for me. Them not seeing the Teferi is good for me. Yep. Let's check this out. Just gonna go turn 1 expedition map, I think. And my opponent could have Blood Moon. So I'm just gonna chill, I think. Fetch planes, play expedition map, say go. Gonna hang on to this saga for a minute because my opponent's gonna have forces, right? Our best draw, maybe Teferi. Fetch a basic island. Not suspicious at all. This is bad if they have force, but feels like I have to do it. No force. Okay, that's good. So now we can go fetch for Katria Triumph. And then we can untap and slam the Tef. If they Blood Moon, we just Prismatic Ending. Play that. Got a counter for this one? We'll see. They should probably just play the 3 just hard cast the Borrower, and I'm gonna be probably forced to bounce it, and then they can't Fire Ice, which is sort of annoying if I'm being honest. The good thing is that even if they deal with this and this, then this just cleans up the mess. So they draw 2, discard 2. That's fine. Again, we still have explosives to clean up the mess, which is very nice. This also blanks 4, so I guess that they can just have, you know, a green card, and we can just hard cast it. But untap land is probably what we're looking for here, because untap land allows me to go Dryad plus Saga Crack. We go with a Valakut. Blood Moon. You got it. So I'm just gonna end step, deal with that. I mean, I guess I could just not do anything too. Yeah, I mean, we can just chill. Because this is kind of messing with their mana pretty harsh. Yeah, they just locked themselves out. I mean, I'll take it. Again, maybe the Rhinos matchup is just awesome. Eh, see you for the last round. All right, here we go for the last round. This hand has a lot of potential. I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna try to explore on 2. We are playing 30 lands, so chances of us drawing land are fairly high. We're playing against Scapeshift. That would suck because that matchup is awful for us. Okay, so it looks like we're not playing against Scapeshift. Okay. Get a Planesplay Expedition map. We're probably playing against never mind, I have no idea what we're playing against. Rhinos again? No, it's not Rhinos. Oh, this is a Tribal Flames deck. Okay. So what we can do here is we can Chalice for 1 plus Crack Map. And then next turn, please whiff. It's not a whiff. So I think I want to go get another Valakut here. And then if we find a fetch land, we win. Fetch. All right, guess I'll take it. And I think we have 2 options. We can go. We can just kill the Territorial Cavu, or we can kill both of their creatures. I think I'm gonna kill both of their creatures. And then we can chump the territorial Kavu. Guess chumping the Kavu is not great. I guess we don't have any options, so there you go. Still looking for a land. Still looking to find a land or a Renin 6. Prismatic ending. So I think we float mana here. And I think I'm going for Suranor. And we just combo. Green, green, 1, 1. Titania. Play get Windswept Heath. Fetch. Get a 5/3. Find basic forest. Kavu. Kill that. Pass the turn. Blow that up and pass the turn. So I'm going to present lethal here. They have Tribal Flames. They do have Tribal Flames, so we have to sack this. If they have double Tribal Flames, we're dead. But we beat everything else. See. Combo. Guess we're playing against an aggro deck. Don't care about Soul Guide. We do like explosives. I think they have way too many CMCs for Chalice to matter, and we're also on the draw. I do like Courser. I don't think I like Charm. It kills Goyf, but Goyf is not really their game plan. Kuzgora can be randomly pretty cute, but I don't think that's where I want to be. I think I'd rather be on the Endurance plan. And then Pulse of Murasa over the 4th Teferi. I kind of don't like Teferi, particularly on the draw. It's probably just the best card that we got though. The Tribal Suit deck looks pretty strong. It's funny how things have been moving in the metagame, where people were pretty high on the Tribal Suit at the very beginning of the format, and it has kind of died out. I'm kind of surprised at how good the Rhino matchups is with this deck. Like both matches that I played today against Rhinos, they did not really feel close. I kind of felt super far ahead at every point of the game. So I'm gonna go for Ketria Triumph here, turn 1. Next turn we can explore. Ideally we can find Prismatic Ending. Prismatic Ending would probably be our best draw. That's a big boy. Explore. Saga is nice. Maybe I should have played Saga there actually, to kind of get that train rolling. Fetch on is nice. So we can either Courser Or we can Dryad. The thing is that I definitely want to Titania next turn. So since I definitely want to Titania next turn, I think I probably have to go Dryad here. That was a slight missequence. And I think I'm taking 9. It's not pretty, but I think that I'm supposed to take 9. Fury evoked. Huh. Okay, so they're not just Sue, they're playing the general. It's pretty good. We're dead to Mantis Rider. One short on the Saga. That was pretty great. Like, that looked very good from my opponent. Well, we're gonna be on the play. Endurance would have been pretty nice. Sure, keep this. That Kabu! It's no slouch. That Kabu means business. That Kabu means business. Opponent moves to 4. Yikes. I mean, if they have a super aggro start, our hand is not outstanding. It's pretty solid, but it's not like ridiculously good or anything. I think I'm gonna go just get the other Triumph, and then I can play Saga next turn. If they do play Kabu, just Tribal Flame's face, just straight up. Not messing around. White, blue, 1. Just the ultimate SM orc. They can Tribal Flames my Teferi here, but that's not really that big of a deal. They do nothing instead. Yeah, I can beat nothing. I can certainly beat nothing. Particularly when we're gonna combo off next turn. So just go get Suranar. Play that. Play Titania. Get back to Flooded Strand. Fetch. Get a Plains. Play that. 3, Even if they have double Tribal Flames, it just doesn't matter. That should be game. So this is lethal. I don't need to sack anything else. Got him. 4 and 1. 4 and 1. Yeah, looked pretty good. Not gonna lie, Teferi kind of is nuts right now. I think it's we talked about this in Mishra's Bubble this past last week, where this is just one of the cards that is just all of a sudden really well positioned. There's like a certain cards, certain modern cards that have kind of been a little bit out of the loop, and now all of a sudden, boom, we they're going back to domination, and the fairy definitely is among those. Another one is Tarmogoyf. Tarmogoyf is a good example as well. So those cards all of a sudden right now are looking very good because of how the metagame has been evolving and how everything has been kind of falling into place. These cards just really line up very well against those cards, against the format, sorry. Our only loss was to Mill, which is a really bad matchup. But whenever we played against any sort of like tier deck, like we kind of rolled them over. Particularly Rhinos, I was impressed. Like I wasn't expecting Rhinos to be that good, but the matchup looked extremely positive for us. Like I just felt ahead at every single point of the every single part of the way. We played against UR Murktide, same thing. Like I felt game one, my opponent got super lucky that they found their one of Brazen Bower to deal with my Chalice. Otherwise, we would have been super far ahead. And even with that, we still managed to get the W there. So yeah, deck looks pretty good. I think it's just never gonna pick up. It's weird. It really is weird. I need more clout for people to actually start picking up a deck like this, but it's been really good for me, and it's been consistently so. Like it's been consistently so. It just always feels like it's the deck to be playing in this format. I played Amulet yesterday on stream, and it was just miserable. I just felt like every single step of the way, I was needing to work extra hard in order to achieve anything at all. And then all of my moving pieces that I needed to put together, they would just like fall apart to just like normal cards that my opponent was playing. So this deck has it's in the complete opposite end of the spectrum, and you're just like nothing really makes you stumble. Like we saw my Rhinos opponent just like Blood Mooning me, and I'm just like, sure, whatever. Like I could have dealt with the Blood Moon, and I'm just like, isn't it better for me to just not deal with this and just Blood Moon you out of the game? So like it looks like it gets hurt by cards like that, but in reality, that's just not the case. Like you can play through hate cards like nobody's business. So very excited about this deck. Still pretty high on it. And hopefully you enjoyed it. So if you did enjoy it, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. And I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.